Hi, welcome to Date Night.
I'm Will.
And I'm Amy. And we've been married for 13 years. 13 long years.
Yeah, and after all those long years, we felt like we needed some adventure in our marriage.
So every couple of weeks, we send our kids out of the house to the sitter's house.
And we go upstairs to the playroom.
Yep, and we clear off the table.
And we explore a whole new world together.
Just the two of us.
And me, your best buddy and longest role-playing companion.
Yep, and Mike.
And me, your favoriteest nephew.
And our nephew.
Your favoriteest nephew.
Our favoriteest nephew, Sam.
And, of course, a mysterious force from beyond the veil, also known as your half-niece-in-law, Eva.
Yeah, and our whatever Eva is to us.
And we play
Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, just in time for thunderstorms to be here.
Okay, so a couple
really set the
things
mood.
so far as
I love storms.
we might have quite a bit of combat in this one, so a couple of rules that we should probably figure out. We need a house rule on how concentration works, because technically how concentration works is every time you're hit while you have a concentration spell active, you need to roll a constitution save. And for buffs, that sucks, because like Mike, you have Shield of Faith,
Yes.
which is like a buff. It shouldn't be that if you get hit, you have to re-up that buff, or you have to do that constitution roll. Mm-hmm. I'm of the opinion that maybe for concentration spells that are channeling something that's like continually dealing damage, we roll constitution saves. But if we're talking about like Shield of Faith or Mage Armor actually isn't a concentration spell, I don't think. But those types of spells that are buffs, I don't think we're going to roll for.
Okay. Now, what about the spells like, I mean, for example, Thunder Smite is a concentration spell. So it's like if I whiff the first time, get hit.
I think that's just going to activate it onto your weapon when you cast it, and it'll count like a buff.
Okay.
I'm really just thinking, for example, like when we were in that battle with the sorcerer in Raventree, the guy who was creating the elemental and channeling a spell to keep the river open. I'm thinking like really significant types of concentration spells like that seem like they would be taxing to keep up. Will make the bad guys and the good guys have constitution rolls for. But otherwise, we won't. What we do need to keep track of, though, is when you are concentrating on a spell while you have one active, you can't have another one. You can't use another one or you lose your first.
Okay.
So you can only have one at a time, even if it is a buff, like Shield of Faith, okay? So if you activate a concentration spell, you can put on a concentration hat if you want, or at least just remember that you're concentrating.
I think we should stick with the hats.
Hats are good. Me and Mike have determined that we can just stop speaking and only use hats to communicate.
Of communication.
That's why I pulled out the pink bunny ears here.
That's one rule. The other rule is, Eva, you took a Tavern Brawler.
Yes.
What does that do?
I can improvise weapons, and I think I'm resistant to some kind of damage. I have it written down. When I hit a creature with an unarmed strike or improvised weapon, I can use a bonus action to attempt to grapple the target.
Okay.
But also, I think I can improvise weapons.
Yes, you can.
So I'm going to hit you with this bottle and then throw you out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you grapple, that's what I was looking up because I didn't know how grappling works. If you grapple successfully with someone, it reduces their speed to 0, so they can't move. And when you move on your turn, you can drag them in whatever direction you want.
Okay.
So that's sort of how grappling
I
works. But
remember-
it does take your action, except for now, you can use your bonus action if you punch someone, not
Okay.
if you use your axe.
Okay.
So if you feel like getting down and dirty and grappling or whatever, you have that advantage that you can still throw a punch. Otherwise, anybody else who grapples, that's their action. That's their attack action.
Okay.
Okay.
How do the improvised weapons work, just out of curiosity?
She
Like
can
a
pick
flat
up something.
modifier, or...
I mean, she can pick up something, and she gets her proficiency bonus
Okay.
because she's proficient with improvised weapons based on the
But
feat.
it's-
But we have to assign what kind of damage it would do. I'll just have to make
Just
up
use
the
common
damage.
sense to, yeah.
If it's like a table leg, it would be similar damage to a club.
The mithril pebble of pig smiting.
Yes, that would be similar to
Just a rock you find.
a
on the
rock.
field.
Maybe a Kalman rock.
I'm glad you looked that up because I remember when I took that feat, I was like, define grappling. And you
Yeah.
were like, like wrestling. And I was like, thanks.
I
didn't-
get the definition
Yeah,
of the word.
I didn't really know exactly how the mechanic worked, so I looked it up.
Thank you.
What did you call it again? The mithril pebble of what?
Pig smiting.
Pig smiting?
Yes.
I feel like there's a reference there I should
It's
be.
an incredibly obscure reference.
I don't get it.
There's an anime called Sword Art Online.
If it's an anime reference, I
It's
don't get it.
If a reference falls in a forest and no one is around, does it make a
an anime
sound?
reference.
Mike,
It
I
gets
used to
better.
watch Sword Art Online, and I don't even get
No,
it.
because it's not from Sword Art Online. Hang on, just stick with me on this journey.
Nope, it's finished.
Kid kick
So-
is in the way, I can't turn it off.
So, this YouTube channel's
So last time, Kip and Dern and Kira made a quick escape from Silver's blessing, thanks in part to Kip, for transporting you on that escape. Anyway, you made it out into the wilderness and took your long rest, which you guys were down pretty low, and especially Dern and Kip in
I got
terms
a
of their
thunder
hit points
horn.
and spells.
Oh, that's right. We're partway down the road. Okay.
So you guys were headed toward the direction of the Painted Valley last time.
Sam and I are nowhere.
Right.
In the
But
abyss.
when
so
Kira...
it's an official new day.
Yes, you've got your long rest.
I'm going to get a charge back on my
Do 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 do.
wizardy wandy.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, your
I'm just using this
lightning wand.
for now.
Okay. When you wake up, it appears that Ahrin and the self-proclaimed King of Magic have teleported in their sleep to your little campsite. So they are asleep in the middle of the camp, and when you wake up, you realize that this is not where you were when you went to sleep, but you're here now.
But I probably don't remember going to sleep either, right?
No. Not at this point.
That means eventually you will know where you had been.
If you live. Kip, Kip, who is taking the last watch, is sitting cross-legged at the edge of camp with the sunrise at his back, and he's got an odd lantern of some kind that's clipped to the end of his arm, basically around his wrist, shedding light on some letters that he's holding in front of him. The little pangolin that the sheriff had is curled up beside Kip with its head on his lap.
There's a
and
pangolin and I missed it?
When did we bring the pangolin? Did it just follow us like the Amanita, or
Kip nabbed it while you were unconscious.
and put it where when he turned into a pony?
Well, the way inventory works
Oh no!
when you're a pony, or when Kip transforms into one of his animal forms, the inventory just transforms to be part of the animal. So he and the pangolin were one, and now they're good buddies.
The pango pony.
You guys didn't do anything fun without us, right?
I think you're still asleep.
No, I'm
No,
awake.
everybody woke up.
She's saying
Oh.
that in her sleep. You guys didn't do anything fun with us.
So Kip occasionally was lowering the book to look around the area and absent-mindedly petting the pangolin. And he says, good morning, and also, welcome back.
Everyone seems to be like remarkably cool with us just vanishing and reappearing randomly, but I'm not loving it.
I'm not cool with it either, if it makes you feel better.
So, like everyone else is so calm.
It's
think
really weird, but I'm just kind of getting used to it.
Yeah, we're just getting used to it, I think.
I think everything you guys do is a little weird, so I just thought it was another one of those
Could you
things.
guys just like do me a favor? Could you guys just like do me a favor and maybe like scream in terror next time we appear? Just so I don't feel so, I don't know, taken for granted.
Actually, I'd look for that too. A little bit of terror would be nice when I arrive.
A little bit of courtesy terror, please.
I mean, when I was on the watch and you guys showed up asleep, I almost pooped a little, if it makes you feel better.
Thank you!
That makes me feel so much better, actually.
The pangolin did. By the way, this is my buddy, Pangy.
Pangy?
Yeah, Pangy.
I love him.
Alright. Didn't, Fantasy Morgan Freeman narrate a movie about you called March of the Pangolins?
Okay. This is getting cut
I don't
from
know
the
what a movie
episode.
is,
That's
but
what's
I love
getting
Morgan
cut from the
Freeman.
episode.
There are so many questions right now.
Okay.
So,
Mostly, if he
Bless
doesn't
you.
know what a movie is, how does he know Morgan Freeman?
we're old.
I did say
We're all
Fantasy
Grove
Morgan
buddies.
Freeman.
You can't just put fantasy before something and...
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Let me pull out my fantasy iPad and check Fantasy Morgan Freeman's Fantasy IMDb page.
That
See
makes
where
sense
else
to
I
me.
know him from.
That makes sense to me.
I'm going to warm up my fantasy Hot Pocket in this fantasy microwave.
No, in this house we call those Hot Pocket machines.
Hot Pocket.
Pull out my fantasy gun and just shoot the guy.
I actually have a fantasy gun, though.
Do you really?
Yes, you used it.
The
blunder-
boomstick.
That's a
Oh.
gun. It's, well, I mean, it
Yeah.
kind of creates a
Yeah.
temporal...
Okay.
Are
I
you,
think-
you gonna live?
I don't know. You kept
Should we
talking
just
and I
start
needed to
over?
cough.
So you guys wanted, some courtesy terror. How about courtesy hacking
Courtesy-
fits?
I mean, it starts out...
Looks like it took
it's
her
a
by
good start.
surprise.
Yeah.
So Kip extinguishes the lantern by slapping his wrist, and he folds it up with the hinged metal sides and takes a small stone out of the compartment as he does so, and he pockets them. And he says, well, just to catch you up a little bit, I spent a little time going through some of the letters I pocketed, and it's hard to believe, really, but the first thing I found is that these cultists have almost nothing to do with the blight in the South. The Black Hand, as they call him, barely knows that the cult even exists. So to summarize a few of the letters between someone called Tashi and another person who was only mentioned as the Silent One, who I'm inferring was that clerk we met in the dungeon. Well, me and Dern met, and he looks over at Ahrin and the Grease Wizard.
Whoa! You went to jail? Cool!
What'd you go to jail for?
Did you get a tattoo?
I kind of desecrated a temple.
What?
What?
It was really funny.
You desecrated a temple.
It wasn't a real...
And you wouldn't even let me, Indiana Jones
But
style,
it was a-
get a book from an altar, from a god that wasn't even here, and you went to jail for desecrating a temple?
He didn't really desecrate it, he kind of burned it down.
You burned a
down a
bloody temple down!
It was a temple full of false gods.
It wasn't even really a temple.
Doesn't matter. They're not. They may be false gods, but they're gods to someone.
It wasn't even really used. I don't think they
Oh
were
yeah,
gods to
and it
anyone.
wasn't really. Neither was the book that I was trying to take.
Somebody put it there.
All right.
That's a
Please,
use.
we can't get back into this.
I glare at Dern.
Sounds like you've got some history. Anyway, long story short, we kind of raided the cult's headquarters. Lucky for us, it was mostly unpopulated at the time, and we were able to nab these letters and a ledger and some maps.
I got a thunderhorn.
And a thunderhorn.
What is a thunderhorn? You didn't tell me this. What is this?
I don't know, but I got it.
Okay, team, we really need to work on our communication.
It made a very loud noise, but
I
I'm not really sure what
suggest-
other effect it has.
A complicated
Try it on
system of hacks.
yourself.
I don't want to.
Right, fair.
She mentioned hats. I want to hear more about that.
I'm sorry. No, Kip, please go on.
Well, anyway, according to those letters, the cultists seem to me like they're just kind of runts seeking attention from an absent parent. I wouldn't know anything about that. They seem frustrated that their work with the stones and the mini blight north of the river didn't really gain them any of that attention, though.
Wait,
Can
so
you talk about this?
No, I'd rather not.
so the god that they worship is that the god causing the blight, or creature or being or whatever?
So the blight north of the river was caused directly by the actions taken by this cult that call themselves the Cult of the Black Hand. They were, again, sort of seeking to make an impression on the whoever is down in the south. That blight in the south, though, is a completely different and more powerful animal than anything we were dealing with up here. There seemed to be sort of a schism that occurred in the cult over this whole thing, and Tashi, the one in one of these letters, with the help from the Silent One, seemed to usurp whatever little power there was in this already really chaotic organization that didn't really seem to take well to even having leaders. But he did take control over their plans at the cost of a lot of resistant members who didn't really want to be controlled and either abandoned the cause or were killed while resisting. Tashi, according to the letters, seemed, I guess, nonplussed about the thinning out in the ranks at first, but in his last letter, which also, I think, sort of describes their current plan to some extent, he says that there were further losses that he suffered while obtaining his objective, he wrote. The letter asked that the Silent One should demand that the sheriff redouble recruitment efforts in the city of Silver's Blessing, which may have also been fortunate for us, Dern.
Sorry, I zoned out. Can you repeat all of that?
TLDR, I guess.
What is that?
That's fantasy for long story short. I
Too
guess.
long, didn't read, but
Right. Pretty much it looks like the cult's at the weakest it's been since it's been formed. Which,
quick, let's strike now. Where are they?
But if they're not even the cause of this, what's the point?
They're the cause of the northern one.
Well, they're still bad people.
Well, lots of people are bad people. We can't kill all the bad people.
That's true.
well, if I might, there's one thing that may make them a little bit more of a threat that I sort of haven't mentioned yet.
Are they racist?
Maybe. But actually, it seems like their ranks have been pretty well fleshed out from all different races, so maybe they've got that going for
good
them.
for
Except for one, right?
What?
Except for one kind of race, right?
Which kind?
I don't know. I don't see any gnomes over there.
I haven't seen any, no.
Exactly. They hate the gnomes.
Well, to be fair. So does your party. Or am I misreading that thing between you and the dwarf?
I don't hate all gnomes.
I'm cool with him.
I don't really hate Dern. I kind of... Never mind. Let's keep going.
I didn't mean to pick that scab.
Do we, Dern?
Ew.
You don't like me, Dern?
I don't hate all gnomes.
That's not the question,
I'll
though.
take that as you don't hate me. Alright, let's keep going. I don't hate you either. And I give him a little kiss on the cheek.
This is getting uncomfortable.
Well, camping
17.
is... You kiss him on the cheek. Camping is a real bonding experience.
Is there like a DX save I can do here?
If you really want, you can try and dodge.
You gotta roll higher than.
I got a 2.
No, you lean
liked
into
it.
it.
If you rolled a 1, I think you probably would have faced him.
Now I understand. Anyway, their plan seems to have had something to do with the return of Al-Bagula. The cultists had their supplies shipped into the Painted Valley. You remember that supply list we found, Dern?
Aye.
It had fish and seagrass and things along those lines in it.
Albacore tuna.
Right. I'm not really sure how, but I think Tashi and what's left of his crew are trying to hatch the first baby turtle dragon that Volyanaya has seen in, well, basically recorded history.
That doesn't sound that bad.
Turtle dragons are not good.
I mean,
Why
the
not?
baby wouldn't be much of a threat, but they do grow up.
Okay, what is a turtle dragon and why is it bad? I don't know if I've heard of these in my land.
They're one of the worst types of dragons.
I rolled an 11. I've heard of them.
I mean, any dragon raised by someone with bad intentions is bad news for anybody it encounters.
Ahrin raises her hand.
Ahrin?
What about a dragon raised by somebody with good intentions?
That would be a horse of a different color. Grease Wizard? Tim? Omega 13.
12.
Omega 12.
Dolan?
King of Magic. What?
Gnome?
Sam?
Can we have a dragon, please, King Mom, please? I'll take such good care of it.
I promise. We'll walk it.
I'll take such good care of a dragon if you give one to me.
We're in the playroom. I have a pet dragon here.
Yay!
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
Back to the story.
Don't turn it on.
I won't.
You were actively looking for
You
the
were-
on. Don't lie.
I won't, but only because I cannot find the answer.
I found
Sure.
the answer. No,
It's in its
she-
butt.
I'm jealous.
right.
I hope we're still talking about the
I
on
never
switch.
got an adorable baby dragon when I was a kid.
It's sleeping right now. Leave Scorch alone.
I never had one either.
I don't think I can even find the rails that we came off of. At
No, I think
Baby
just
turtle
ran
dragon.
off.
Please,
I'll
please,
save him
Game
in
Mom,
case
let us
we
have a
an
baby turtle
encounter. He
dragon.
could be the miniature.
He's not that
The
tiny.
miniature.
Mouse cat.
I hope the miniature wouldn't be that size.
So,
I
yeah.
told you we needed a bigger table.
Alright, well,
Albacore tuna.
I'm waiting for a response, I guess.
What was the question?
Yeah, I
It
don't.
wasn't a question.
Well,
I'm sorry.
So the cult is not as big of a threat, but they may have a dragon, which makes them a threat.
A potential one, anyway.
So, do we want to just like wipe them out completely, or just steal the dragon so they can just, whatever?
I mean,
That's-
I want to wipe them out completely. But
I'd like to do both.
Both sounds good.
Both it is, Kip.
I mean, if we're going to have a shot to wipe them out completely, now, before the dragons hatched and while they're still sort of at their weakest, would maybe be a good opportunity.
You'll let me keep the dragon though, Kip, right?
I mean, technically, the eggs are usually collected by the Dragonborn to the north, where Albagula comes to the beach, and they bring them to their temples. But I don't know if we want to have another one of those situations where we're talking about sort of holy eggs. But we could come to that bridge when we cross it.
Alright, I heard you said I could keep the dragon, so let's go.
So to the Painted Valley, then.
And who's going to take care of the dragon when you wink out of existence?
I'm sure-
Who's going to walk it, feed it, clean up its leavings?
I'm sure that
Why would you-
if I have a dragon, it'll just come with me to wherever I'm going. And I promise I won't lose it there.
Where do you go that would be okay with a dragon?
I don't know.
If they're cool with him, they'll be cool with the dragon.
That's
maybe
true.
it comes with an amulet and it disappears into the Feywild like Sam the Benevolent.
That's true.
Does saying his name in that sort of context summon Sam the Benevolent? Okay.
So I
So
did roll an 18.
we're gonna head to the Painted Valley.
Yeah.
To the Painted Valley.
Well, I mean, here's the map, Kira.
Are you not going with us?
I mean, I'm coming, but I don't know anything about this area either, so I'm sort of just going to be following along.
Hopefully this is a good map.
Well, it's got the this was the map that had like not a straight line, but it had a line consisting of the paths that were taken to ship the supplies from Silver's Blessing to the Painted Valley where the cult is. So it's a really, really good map.
On the road again.
All right, so basically, it's not that far to the Painted Valley, and we're going to do a little bit of fast travel in that direction. So after a couple of days of sort of just camping out but having no real encounters to speak of, your journey leads you to a misty valley nestled between two gently sloping mountains, covered in patchy bits of jungle and thick, long barriers of brambles and thorny shrubs. You cross under a huge stone archway that spans over the path into the valley. There are some small, scaly brown creatures leaping across the foot of the mountains like antelope, but instead of having bodies that look like antelope, they have like long wiener dog-looking bodies above their sort of pronghorn-like legs, so they're like really, really long-bodied, scaly antelopes. In front of you, 50 yards away or so, you spot the source of the mist in this valley as a huge geyser erupts out of the ground, reaching skyward before raining back down to the ground around it, and a patch of purple, waxy leaves soaks up the spray below of the plant there. Ahead in the valley, it's hard to see because it's obscured by the mist, but you hear the sound of other geysers blasting out of the red, porous earth around you. And just beyond, you can hear that sort of just beyond this veil of mist. The ground is kind of silty in places, and in others it seems hard and porous, like kind of volcanic, what's that, like pumice. Yeah. So it's kind of brittle as well. Above you, the sky is clear of clouds, but the haze from the mist makes it alive with all the colors of the spectrum, and the wet heat of the afternoon is very close despite it starting to move into the cold season. It must be stifling here in the summer. Behind you, the jungle stretches away and obscures the view south, its greenery fading to red and occasional patches of purple leaves as you continue along your path. According to the map, the camp is in the center of this valley, which is sort of away from the bases of these mountains that you're in between right now, but sort of at the mouth of a pass. Okay? Will you roll perception checks, please? And
11.
6.
19.
Hearing or sight?
Sight.
7.
Oh, that's a 7 with my modifier.
Okay.
Not to brag, but...
Sam, the grease wizard, you see actually that these purple plants that have been soaking up the water from the geysers are moving slightly as you are walking past. As you get nearby, they're sort of very slowly scuttling just a few feet and then stopping.
Alright, did you guys see that?
See what, lad?
The plants are moving.
I
Did
didn't
you
see them
eat
move.
some of your herbs again?
No, the plants, the purple ones, look at them, watch them. They're moving.
Will everyone
I'm
roll
not
a
seeing
nature check?
6.
15.
14.
12.
Okay. You're not really sure what the purple plants are, any of you, but the grease wizard is the only one who's been able to see them move.
Shall I go touch one?
If you're seeing it move, probably not. It's just a plant. Leave it there.
We haven't had good luck with moving plants in the past, lad.
If you're really, I didn't see him move, but if you're really concerned about the plants, I could go have a chat with them.
Alright.
No, it's fine.
You're gonna go talk to a plant.
He's a druid. He can do it.
Oh!
I know this
Right.
because my mother was half druid.
That doesn't mean you can make Druish jokes. Okay, so he walks over to the purple plant, and you see him just kind of move his head around, and his hair rustles a little bit in the wind. And the plant, you watch its leaves sort of rustle a little bit. And I could continue describing this for half an hour, or we could go with the results of this conversation. Okay. So another gentle breeze comes along, and Kip angles his head toward that breeze. And the soft rustling of his hair is transported to the hearing receptacles of this plant.
Yeah.
That feels the motion of the rustling and responds.
Continue.
Okay.
I liked it.
What does all this mean?
I've just told the plants that it's okay and we're cool and that they don't need to move.
So what are they? Are they... Normally, would they attack us?
No, but they're sort of trying to throw you off a little bit. You've noticed so far we've sort of been avoiding stepping in the places where the purple plants are, because that's where the geysers tend to be. Mm-hmm. Well, they figure if they move a little bit, we may take a misstep and end up, blasted by one of those geysers. And
Why would they want to blast us?
well,
They don't want to eat us, do they?
not anymore.
Oh, great. So they're purple triffids.
How sure are you?
60-40.
Oh, look, those odds. Let's keep going.
That's good enough for me.
Okay.
Everyone watch your step.
So now if we step away from the purple plants, we should be safe on our journey throughout the rest of the valley here, I would hope. Okay?
Alright.
So avoid the plants if you would.
Hi. Thanks for listening to Date Night. I'm Amy, and I play Kira.
And I'm Will, your friendly neighborhood game mom, reminding you that holiday spirits are immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks. I also wanted to announce the winner of the dice giveaway that we've been running over on our Twitter and Facebook pages. Both of those are at D8 Night Podcast. And the winner of that giveaway is James Wells, who goes by the handle at Juggernaut with a G, so it could be the German pronunciation, Guggernaut. James, if you're in the US, you've won a really cool 11 dice set, or your choice of 3 of my Dungeon Masters Guild titles, including my newest, Pippi Pigeontoe's Guide to Practical Pigeoning. If you're outside of the US, you've won your choice of those DM's Guild titles. If you didn't win, though, take heart. I've got a few free or pay-what-you-want titles over on DM's Guild as well. You can pick up any of those by clicking on the Store tab over at datenightpodcast.com. Plus, we'll be giving the details of a new giveaway during Christmas week over on our social media pages on Twitter and Facebook, so make sure you follow us at Date Night Podcast to stay in the loop.
Remember to share us with your D&D group or someone you think might enjoy the story. Thanks for your support, and congratulations again to James. We hope all of our listeners have a very Merry Christmas, or whatever holiday you celebrate, we hope it's a happy one. Now, let's get back to the story.
So you continue walking through this valley again with its red, porous ground, and you do see, as you continue to walk, that these purple plants tend to surround these geysers that shoot up into the air. It seems to be that the mist is getting even thicker as you continue, which is making it hard to see more than maybe 20 feet away from you. All of these eruptions have sort of started to blend in until all of a sudden you hear one just crack extremely loud ahead in the mist. And you hear a sort of wow noise coming out of the mist.
The blorp cows are back?
Is that a frog?
Everybody roll a perception check.
It's a giant frog. Okay, that's a
12.
16.
20 on...
It's good.
yeah.
All right, with that 20, it's good. You see these before they see you.
Guys, get down.
Kira, roll a nature check.
13.
Well, you see these before they see you. They appear to have a thick, slimy red skin.
Are they frogs?
No, not exactly. Their mouth looks kind of like a frog's. Their skin has like uneven layers of crystallized scum, I guess you could call it, on it. Their mouth, is kind of like a frog's, but its body is long and piscine. So its rear drags on the ground.
What's piscine?
Kind of fishy.
Like a fish.
Yeah, like a fish.
Thank you.
Its rear is dragging on the ground, and its front is supported by salamander-like legs. But it's moving surprisingly fast as it jumps out of the mist. And since your perception check was so good, Kira, you also see that there's another one. So one of them is about at your party's 11 o'clock, and one of them is about at your party's 4 o'clock.
Guys, there are these things coming. They look like giant, crusty red tadpoles. Things.
You mean the back's kind of piscine?
Yes.
Okay.
Alright, let's roll some initiative.
Wait a minute. If these look like tadpoles, is there a grown-up somewhere?
Ruggy.
Okay.
I don't
Let's roll
understand that
initiative.
reference.
21.
2.
10.
11. But also, I'd like
Oh,
it to be
wait.
noted that by now I know to listen to Kira when she says, "Look out!" And I had hit the deck completely and am probably now covered in mud.
I actually had an 11 as well. What's your dex? 13. 16. Okay, so I guess that means I
So
have a
Kira
12.
and then me. Yeah, your initiative should probably go. No, wait, never mind. You're right.
My initiative is +3.
And Dern will be at last again. Grease Wizard.
With me.
You're
Right.
up first.
Dwarven
You see
legs.
again, these creatures are about at... You've got one almost straight ahead of you and one sort of toward your right, and they're running at you from the mist. The one that's straight ahead of you is only 20 feet away. The one to the right is about 30 feet away.
I'm gonna cast a...
Shatter!
No. Chromatic orb
No way, really?
at the one right in front of us.
Okay. That's a ranged
So-
attack, right?
Yes, but... So you said they're kind of like tadpole-ish?
Yeah, but they're really large.
Large tadpole.
Yeah,
Right.
like...
Giant,
Crust.
crusty
I'm gonna
red
go with
tadpoles.
like a rhinoceros, maybe? Almost that big.
So
Does
basi-
the skin look like a rhinoceros? Like, is it that...
The skin is kind of slimy.
like that thick?
I'm sure you're going somewhere with this.
It
I'm just trying
looks
to figure
more
out
like a salamander skin, but it does have like crystal stuff all on it.
Like armor type.
Oh,
It's kind of like crystallized like stone, but just in certain areas. Like
This
it's
is
not-
definitely a baby, and there's a giant stone frog coming to get us somewhere.
I'm gonna use lightning damage for this chromatic orb.
Okay.
It has a disadvantage because it's wet, right? Right?
would it be disadvantage, or that would just be like some extra damage?
That would make it vulnerable if that was the
Yeah.
case.
That's what I was thinking. Alright,
Good thinking, babe.
so...
Good thinking.
17 plus
Frog
7.
Slime against it.
Yeah, I'd say you hit with the lightning chromatic orb, so roll your damage for that.
Looking for my 8. There it is. 8, 3, 7. 18.
18. So you have a big crack of lightning pop out of your fingers and smash into this thing right in its big frog mouth as it's running toward you full speed. And you watch as a bunch of those crystalline shards or scum or whatever on it just blasts up into the air and start raining down. And you continue to hear big eruptions of steam vents further ahead. Okay?
Steam vents?
Or the geysers.
Things.
Oh, okay.
Old Faithful.
So that... I'm calling these guys steam swimmers. You guys didn't pass the nature check, so I didn't tell you anything about them, but I'm just going to do that to make it easier to talk about them. So this guy is charging for the grease wizard who just hit him with that lightning.
20.
Yeah, that'll be a crit. So
Aww.
he's basically jumping at you, and before he even reaches you, while he's in the air, he sticks his tongue out frog style and tries to nab you with it.
I look at my
So that's a 25. I mean, it's a crit. It's an automatic hit. So
my ring of blissful ignorance. I hold up
Okay.
to my hand and say, "Frog damage."
I'll allow it as frog damage. So any damage these particular creatures do to you, you will be resistant to. Right? That's how it works.
Yeah.
So you'll take half damage.
He doesn't have to roll to like.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
It's just a once per day effect that he can use. But you cannot deal any frog damage for the extent I have.
Well, I don't think he was gonna.
Chromatic
so.
orb, frog.
So that would have been 4 damage with the tongue, so it's 2 damage.
Nice.
And he pulls you toward his mouth and tries to bite. Okay?
Oh.
So you're wrapped up in his tongue right now.
Okay.
And that's a 21 against your AC.
Oh,
Oh.
these frog rolls.
And that would have been 4 damage.
Oh, I do have to roll.
You have to roll 1.
Yeah, for the Ring of Blissful Ignorance. After taking
Oh.
damage, use a Persuasion or Deception check of 10
Oh,
to convince it.
okay. So go ahead and do that.
11.
Good. You've convinced it that you don't believe in frogs. That one would have been 4 damage on the bite, so it's 2 damage
Yeah.
again. So the tongue got you for 2, and the bite got you for 2. Then it flicks you across its back where some of those crystalline shards were, and drags you along those. Okay?
But are they gone?
Not all of them. I
Oh.
mean, some of them blasted up into the air. And I need you to... First, you'll take 3 damage, and I need you to make a Constitution save.
3 damage
Jeez.
halved.
That is the half.
Hachi machi.
That's poison damage.
17
Okay,
plus. That's a 20.
that's fine. And as he does that, he scrapes you across his back with his tongue and sort of flings you off to the side, and you'll be kind of 10 feet out behind him on your next turn, okay?
Okay.
Unless he moves more. Kira, it's to you. The one steam swimmer is maybe 15 feet away. That's about where he stuck his tongue out and did that move against the grease wizard who's now behind him. And the other one is still charging from the mist to your side, about 30 feet away.
Is it charging towards me or just in general
Toward
us?
the party.
I'm going to shoot at it with my arrow,
Which one?
the one that he already
Okay.
struck at, and I'm also going to attempt to do Ensnaring Strike.
Okay. So you cast Ensnaring Strike, right?
Yes.
And then you attack. Okay.
Let me find my book so I can remember how much I add. 16 plus 7, 23.
That hits. The arrow digs in right between, right above this thing's mouth, like between its nostrils.
It has to succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained by vines until the spell ends.
How much damage did you do?
I haven't rolled damage yet.
Okay.
And it's concentration, so I guess I need the bunny ears.
Okay. He, on his strength
Good
save,
luck.
got a 21, so he's not ensnared. But you can roll your damage and add your Colossus Slayer damage,
Yes.
because he's below max health.
5 and 8.
Okay, so this arrow sinks in between its nostrils and it collapses onto the ground with a big thud. Ahrin, it's your turn. The other steam swimmer to the right of the party is 30 feet out.
The one that nobody's touched.
Yeah, the
So
other one
far?
is the other one's dropped. It's died.
Does that mean that I can take these off?
Yeah, you're not concentrating anymore.
The one that does it seem to be aware of like avoiding the purple plants?
No, it's just making a complete straight run toward you.
Okay. I guess I will run towards it and attack it with my axe.
Okay.
That's a 13.
That will hit.
And then but I want to try to hit it in a place where like when we meet it will be like in one of those patches and I will not. Does that make sense?
So you want to try and run so that you intercept it as it's moving over a purple plant, but before you get to it. So roll in. We'll say that you hit when you get there, but to see if you're in the right spot, roll an athletics check to see if you run at the right speed, I guess.
What's 7 plus 4?
11.
And I'm proficient in that, so
No.
13. No, wait, that's with my proficiency, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. 11.
11. All right, I'll just...
Is it? No, you don't have your...
No,
you don't
that's
have-
not with my proficiency? Okay, then it is 13.
13? Okay.
Sorry.
So go ahead and roll your damage for the axe first.
11 plus... Sorry, at the beginning of every game, I forget how to do everything. 15.
Okay. Roll a d12. I'm going to see... I have these steam vents sort of on a randomized thing that I use a d12.
5.
Okay, so you just really get it with the axe, and you dig in right above its leg, and really... The axe really digs in, and you yank it back out. It doesn't look thrilled with that.
Okay, that's good.
It's Kip's turn. I guess Kip is going to... He yells, "Nurture, nature!" and his staff grows, and he runs in next to Ahrin and tries to hit this thing with
Kip
his
is somehow
staff.
less intimidating than Kalman.
I'll take that. And he just whiffs with this thing to perpetrate that.
Just to really
less
complete the picture.
intimidating. Yeah. Man. And
Oh, nuts.
the steam swimmer is going to attack you, Ahrin.
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 Orange?
Yeah, some of the limericks
Rhyme?
that you guys wrote were beautiful, but they rhymed my name if it was pronounced Orin. So we need
You
to
can
chat.
tell who wrote
That
that.
would be my limericks. He tries to bite you, and that's a 14 against your AC.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay.
I don't think my... Can I ask a question? I don't think my AC has gone up since I was level 1. Does that ever change, or do I have to buy new armor, or, like, how does that work?
Since you're a barbarian, it's based on your dex and constitution modifiers, I think. So if they go up, your AC goes up.
Okay, my constitution has gone up, but
Yeah.
I didn't adjust my AC.
No, you couldn't have, because you took Tavern Brawler. Your health points have gone up, but your constitution modifier...
No, I think it definitely has, because I have eraser marks and...
Oh, could you choose when you took Tavern Brawler, you could increase your constitution
yeah,
by
I
1?
think that might be it.
Did it make your modifier go up by 1?
Yeah, it did.
Then your AC might be up by 1. Let me look.
But either way, the 14 goes to the frog.
And everybody freezes in place while they're fighting this
Yeah,
giant crusty
I'm
tadpole.
okay
I
with
haven't
taking...
moved yet, so...
I'm not just trying to avoid taking damage from the steam swimmer. I just want
It
to
is
fix
your-
this if it needs to get fixed.
Yeah, it is your dexterity modifier plus your constitution modifier plus 10.
Okay, yeah. So that would be... Yeah.
Goes up by
It
1?
goes up to 14.
Great.
It probably still hits me, though.
Yeah, it hits, but it's good to get that straight, because otherwise, if we get another couple sessions down the line, we'll have no idea why it isn't right or whatever.
Yep. Okay, cool.
So it bites you for 3 damage.
Okay.
And then it kind of just gums you a little bit, and then it kind of spits you out and tries to rub those scales against you as it sort of rolls over toward you. And that is an 11.
Which doesn't...
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you sort of just kind of tumble out of the way
Okay.
as it tries to do that. Dern, you're up.
I get to do something.
You're in.
I want to try my new wand.
Okay.
So, it is 60 feet intelligence modifier for hit. I got a 14. I don't have an intelligence modifier.
that will hit.
Okay. And then 1d12 lightning damage. That's an 8.
Okay. So again, this is a little bit smaller crack of lightning than came from the chromatic orb that the Grease Wizard shot out. But it does blast some of those crystals up into the air. And is that your last charge on your
No,
wand?
because you said we traveled 2 days, so
Okay.
I had 3.
You had it back up.
Now I have 2.
Okay. Grease Wizard, there's one of these things left. Kip and Ahrin are kind of near it, 30 feet. Well, for you, about 45 feet away.
45 feet?
Yeah, because you got thrown behind the other steam swimmer guy before you died.
Okay, I'm gonna move closer towards it. I can move forward 25.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna just cast another probably electrochromatic orb.
Okay.
Which was at 90 feet, so I guess I really didn't need to move forward. But I still did. That's 11.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this thing just sort of, he was broadside because Ahrin, he was trying to rub against her, so that made him a little bit easier to hit.
Cool.
And you managed to get him.
3, 7, 2, 12.
Did you roll a d10?
Is that a D10?
Yeah, that's a 10.
6,
It's probably better.
1. 13!
So this electric orb
I still
flies
don't know
out
which
of your
dice.
hand and hits the broadside of this steam swimmer guy and electrocutes him, and you see his body start to spasm, and he falls down prone and dead on the ground.
Yay!
I really wanted a geyser to get one. I thought that'd be fun.
That would have been cool.
Let's loot the bodies.
Do they have any cool items?
Yeah, weird. They've got a Game Boy Advance SP. Purple.
You better believe I put it down.
No.
The only thing that they really have are the little crystal shard thingies.
Can I inspect one?
Yes, roll investigation check.
Oh, that is the exact Game Boy that I had.
19.
Okay. These are poison. Basically, they are sort of stones that have grown on these guys by being in the wet and in the heat. But they've got the poison from the skin of these creatures has sort of worked its way into the stones while they were growing. So they're definitely toxic stones. You don't know that there's necessarily anything you could do with them in their current form other than try and scrape somebody with one, but they're, finger-sized. But you might be able to do something with them if you...
Finger-sized poison stones.
Finger-sized poison stones.
Okay, so I was looking at them too, and I see him looking at them. I'm like, hey, what do you think they are?
Nothing. I'm just kidding. They're finger-sized poison stones.
Oh, okay, and I pick up a few as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So I've
seems
got
like
enough
a great way to hurt
bells
yourself.
and finger-sized poison stones to last a lifetime.
I mean, it depends how liberal you are with them, but sure.
You tried to give away all of your bells.
Everyone
the
has
last time we
if
played.
you want, can have a bag of finger-sized poison stones.
I don't want them.
Okay.
I'll take 2 bags.
They're called steam crawlers, even though I don't know that yet.
Steam swimmers. Alright. Onward, or what would you like to do?
Are they edible? I'm just
Onward.
kidding. Onward. I'm a vegetarian.
So, as you're getting deeper
They're
into the...
rocks. Oh, you're talking about the frogs. They're talking about the bag of poison stones that we just picked up.
Oh, I don't think vegetarians eat rocks, to be fair.
Rock candy. Delicious.
I'm not going to eat the poison rocks. I'm not going to eat the frogs.
As you get deeper into the mist, heading toward the middle of this valley, the heat is getting more and more oppressive. I need you all to make Constitution saves and let me know if you do not beat 11.
10.
You don't have anything to add to it?
Oh, Constitution. 12! Haha!
My
passed.
bonus is pretty good, but I still don't pass.
18.
Alright.
At least it wasn't a critical failure. I rolled a 3.
Eva, you have level 1 exhaustion from being in the heat. Apparently you're more suited for a cold climate, because you
What
did
if I
quite well on the
cast-
mountain, right?
Yeah.
What
that
if I
seems fair.
cast a cold chromatic orb onto her?
Cold damage.
Please don't.
Yeah, that would
Ahrin
be
sickle.
damage. So
I see him gearing up to do that, and I just go, please don't.
exhaustion means level 1 means you have disadvantage on ability checks, but not on attacks.
Okay.
What if I cast Armor of Agathis on myself, and then she just like stands close?
I don't think it protects you from heat.
It's ice.
Is it? Oh, it's ice?
It's protective magical force surrounds you, manifesting as spectral frost that covers you and your gear. You gain 5 temporary hit points. If a creature hits you with a melee attack while you have these hit points, the creature takes 5 cold damage. I don't think
love
she should
that.
attack me, but if she stands, it's frost.
If you want to burn your spell slot, I'll say that she was really about to like go heat stroke exhaustion, and you prevented it, and she doesn't have a level of exhaustion.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you.
So you step into the refrigerator that is the zone around Dern, and you feel a little bit better.
So I need to
Oh
add
man, that brings back memories of playing poker in the walk-in fridge at camp.
5.
Don't forget if you step away, I'm sure that will come back.
Where did I put my...
What will the level 1 exhaustion? Wait,
There it is.
so I didn't get exhausted.
You
This happened
didn't get
before I took
exhausted.
the exhaustion,
Yeah,
right?
he saw you starting to drag your feet, and
Armor of Agathis.
Thanks, buddy.
he turned fridge. Okay. But you do realize that you don't want to stay in this valley for very long. You probably don't even want to try and take a long rest in this valley or stay overnight, because it may do more harm than good.
This place
For a while.
sucks. Let's leave.
I need
Were
to
we
figure
supposed to
something
be
out
doing
first.
something?
Yeah, we were. We were supposed to go.
We're looking for a cult.
We're supposed to kill the cult. I mean,
I look at my map, which I do not have because somebody didn't hand it to me. Are we close to our destination?
You're about a third of the way there through the valley.
It's on the other side of the valley.
Yeah, it's all the way at the end of the valley near a pass.
don't you have a magic dragon? Can't we just ride that?
No, it's tiny.
He ain't big.
He's that
Aw.
big.
It's a pseudo dragon. It's tiny.
Okay, let's just keep going.
Let's keep going.
Okay,
Just keep walking.
so
Just keep-
as you get
I don't have to
sort
worry
of
about
through
spell slots.
one of the narrow pass, there's a big sort of fumarole, which is a steam vent. We've had sort of geysers so far. This
My
one is just
condolences.
pouring steam, and
So it's just
really,
getting
really
hotter
hot.
as we go.
Yeah.
It took me a second.
What did
This
Sam
wave
say?
of disappointment just rolled over me.
What did he say?
He said we got close to a fumarole, and he said my condolences. And then I said, ugh.
Does that mean you're the kind of guy that laughs at a fumarole?
We drove past one on the way to
You
the
don't understand what I mean. You soon will. Okay.
We drove past a funeral on
people
the
are
way
loving
to on the way to the sitter's house, and Emmy saw a funeral, and she says, "Oh," and I tried to, and Zay asked, "Oh, is that kind of like the funeral in 4 Packs and a Funeral?" I said, "Yes," and Emmy starts singing, "Mommy's at a or she was singing something ridiculous about how I was at a Kagi's funeral, except very happy and sad.
Okay.
It's like, Emmy, stop! Emmy is our creepiest little child who sings really
Every time
disturbing
you make fun of
things.
Akagi, Mike cries.
So you pass a fumarole. Let's put that in the
I don't
rearview
remember
mirror.
which one Akagi was.
He was my original character. He had the big sword, and he attacked really fast. And he talked
Was
like,
he the one who was
He
in
he
charge
talked
of
like
Ra-
Batman.
Was he in charge of Raventree, or was he the
No.
one who was hiding by himself?
He was hiding
Yeah.
beneath
That
the
guy.
traps.
Okay.
The guy who wasn't Batman.
Yes, he's
It's okay,
Batman.
Mike. Don't cry.
So you pass that big fumarole pouring steam. Will everybody make a perception check too?
18.
That's another 3.
I'm just trying to truck through.
9.
What do I
You
not
don't even
see?
know what a fumarole is.
So you hear behind you, Dern, that something has sort of busted through the area around where all that steam was coming out, and you look back into the narrow pass, which is starting to open up a little bit ahead of you. The party is sort of at a really narrow point, but it gets a little bit wider in the direction you're heading. But behind you, Dern, you see this huge, steamy... Roll a nature check, I guess.
14.
It's a steam elemental.
Run!
Am I supposed to know what that means?
Run! It's a pretty simple command.
I thought you just growled.
Yeah, it did kind of sound like that, even though I know what you were saying.
Fly, you fools. How about that? We're trying to escape the steam Balrog.
I don't have fly speed.
Okay.
Are we gonna have to roll initiative?
Are you going to try and break off at a run, or are you going to try and...
How wide is this area that we're going through? Like, you said it's pretty narrow. Can you define?
Yeah, it's about 15 feet wide on either side, and it's opening up pretty quickly. Maybe 20 feet ahead of you, it opens up twice as wide, and then it starts opening up more and more.
Okay. Are we running?
Let's run.
I guess. Now that I understand what you said.
We stubby legs.
Everybody roll athletics.
19 plus...
21.
I'm proficient.
13.
21.
No, wait, 23.
19.
Okay. You put some distance between yourself and this elemental. It's still sort of heading in your direction, but now instead of being about 60 feet behind you, it's about 100 feet back, and you've entered kind of the wider area.
Let's keep going.
Great.
Keep running.
All right. This time, please roll Constitution checks.
Oh no.
17.
4.
17.
18.
It's very heavy armor.
Did you say 4?
But at least it's shiny.
Suffered one.
And that's with my proficiency.
Is your Agathis still up?
It's up for an hour.
Okay. So you're starting to lag a little bit behind the rest of the party, but I'm going to say if your Agathis is up, you're still sort of staying cool. And you have put some more distance between
I
yourself
think
and
I
this
rolled
elemental.
well enough to pick him up and just tuck him under my arm like a football and carry him.
Tuck and run.
Yeah. So you guys are maybe 200 feet in front of this thing at this point.
Is it still heading towards us?
It's still coming, but it's definitely losing ground.
Alright, run again!
Okay.
Just keep running.
Athletics one more time.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh. I'm
I
sorry.
got a 4.
If we get a crit fail,
Totally.
we can't add our proficiency, right?
Right.
I got a crit fail.
Ruh-roh.
I got a 4.
I got an 11.
And this time I've got a...
It's all just falling apart.
Yeah, this time I've got a 22.
Hey, thanks for listening to Date Night. I'm Amy, and I play Kira. Keep listening and sharing, and find us on Facebook and Twitter.